Maryland men's and women's lacrosse fell short in the Big Ten title game, but how will they fare in the NCAA tournament? Baseball secures a series win at Penn State, Terps find new homes in the NFL, and a whole lot more coming up on this year's final edition of The Left Bench.
Welcome back to The Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Alex Gary, alongside Ricky Podgorski. And Ricky, it's our final show of the school year and our final time together anchoring here. Now, we've got a lot of fun stuff planned for this show, but we have to start with lacrosse because, Ricky, it's tournament time.
That's right, Alex. I'm excited for all that we're going to get to at the end of the show and throughout the show because we have a lot of good content planned for you guys. But you're right, it's lacrosse time, it's tournament time. So let's start with the men's squad, who had quite the disappointment in the Big Ten title game. Terps took on Ohio State in Ann Arbor for the Big Ten title, a 1 versus 2 seeded conference matchup, and Maryland let this one get out of reach early. We'll start just about halfway through the first quarter, and the Buckeyes are leading 5-0. You heard that right, 5-0. Daniel Kelly breaks the silence, though, with this nifty goal to put the Terps on the board. Eric Spanos gets going towards the end of the first half, but the Terps trail, though, 9-5. And that early lead for Ohio State proved to help the Buckeyes in the long run, because the Terps tried to claw back in, but Ohio State had plenty of cushion to fend off Maryland and secure the Big Ten title. Maryland loses 14-10 and will now look to the NCAA tournament.
With Maryland men's lacrosse coming up short in the Big Ten tournament, all eyes now turn to the NCAA tournament. Bracket was released Sunday night and Terps draw the number 2 overall seed. We've hopped over to Studio B to break it all down. Maryland will host the winner of a playing game versus Robert Morris and Air Force. If they make it out of the first round, then the winner of Georgetown and Duke awaits in Annapolis. A rubber match with Big Ten tournament champs Ohio State will have to wait as they draw the 4 seed. And Ricky, as we look at this tournament, I think the Terps have a very favorable draw to make it out of this side. I mean, Robert Morris and Air Force, they both won their divisions, both good, gritty teams. But I think looking at it, Maryland is just the dominating force here in this side of the bracket.
And I'd love to see Maryland and Duke again. That's a rivalry that all Maryland fans love. But something you mentioned was Ohio State. And Ohio State's reward, we'll say, for winning the Big Ten title is a match with Notre Dame in the first round, who won the NCAA title last year. So I don't know if that's a favorable reward for Ohio State. But let's move on from the men's tournament and shift over to the women's side. And Kathy Reese and company will also be hosting an opening round playoff game. Maryland women's lacrosse secured the 6th seed in the NCAA tournament and will host Fairfield on Friday, May 9th at the Plex. If Maryland wins, they'll play the winner of Penn and Army West Point. The Terps are on a collision course for a potential Big Ten rematch with Northwestern as the Wildcats secured the 3 seed.
And Ricky, one thing that's really interesting, looking at the top half of this bracket, I mean, obviously Northwestern, they're a monster of itself. But looking at Michigan, too, they're a very gritty team in the Big Ten. They gave Maryland a run for their money earlier in their season. So I don't know if they'll make it past Northwestern, but that's another gritty team that's really in this region.
I think the biggest thing is this Big Ten collision course we'll see. I think Maryland will take care of business against Fairfield, most likely against Army and Penn, but whether it's Northwestern or Michigan, I think that's pretty unfavorable. It's going to be a tough region to get out of for the Terps, but we'll see if they can get it done. It's Kathy Reese. I trust her to get it done for the Terps. But let's head over to baseball now because Maryland baseball had a pretty successful weekend in Happy Valley, taking 2 of 3 in the weekend series. Terps take game 1 7-4 on Friday, but let's start with Saturday, where the Terps went 11 innings with the Nittany Lions. The Terps combined for 22 hits in this one and tied things up in the 9th to push it to extras. Then in the top of the 11th, Braden Martin homers to put Maryland up 1 and secure the 12-11 Game 2 win. On to Sunday, and the Terps go from 22 hits to just 9 in Game 3. Hollis Porter homers to get things going, but Penn State rolled all over Maryland, winning Game 3 8-4. Maryland now moves to 8-16 in conference play this season.
To help us take a closer look at Maryland baseball, we are glad to be joined by Maryland Baseball Network play-by-play commentator Oliver Shack. Thanks so much for joining us, Oliver.
Thank you for having me. You think I would miss your last show?
It's your last show, too.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Well, let's get things started. Quick question here, pretty easy one. What surprised you most about the Penn State series?
I think the biggest thing was just, being able to play through tough conditions, number one. And then you saw in that game, too, right? You had big-time bullpen appearances from Andrew Koshy, who, in that Western Carolina series, he gave up that walk-off home run. Then you saw him in this series against Penn State. He goes into a tight situation, and he gets it done. That is huge for his confidence. That's huge for the bullpen's confidence, because that's really been the one thing that's been a question mark. And really, over the past few years, you guys have seen it, right? The bats always play, but can the pitching match up to it? And now trying to crawl into that Big Ten tournament, try to potentially make a run, they need that to pick up, and they did a really good job at Penn State.
You kind of talked about the struggles of the bullpen. They've had Maryland baseball just as a whole. It's had its highs, had its lows, and a lot of double-digit losses as well. What does Maryland need to do specifically to kind of close out these games and keep them a little closer?
I think they got to ride the momentum, right? They just got their first series win of the entire year, so it's kind of a, we got it, that monkey's off our back, we can move on, we can try to make a push to get into the tournament, right? Because guys like Kyle McCord, the Friday night guy, he was there at Penn State and dominated. That's how he's been all year. The bats are going to play. I mean, Chris Copian had how many hits in that one game? 6? Mm-hmm. Like, the bats are going to play. Starting pitching starts with the Kyle McCoy, and then the rest of the staff just picking up the slack.
You mentioned there was a first series win. What do you think have been some bright spots, though, throughout this season that's been quite the roller coaster ride of up and down moments?
Yeah, I think one, Kyle McCoy, obviously, we know his story. He was highly recruited, was used a lot his freshman year, then got Tommy John this year, the Friday night guy, and he's been as good as advertised. And he's a guy that MLB scouts drool over. He's a 6'6" lefty. He can get up to 94, 95 at times if he's feeling right. And he's so deceptive when you see him pitch on the mound. I mean, a guy who's 6'6", standing this tall and throwing it, low three-quarter slot, it's really hard to pick up. So I would say he's number one. Chris Copian, we know how good he is. I mean, 6 hits seems impossible, but there's Chris Copian. And then, Eddie Copian, too, having a nice year, struggled a little bit, but his leadership is so invaluable, and I think that's what's been able to maintain this team to get to this point where they can still play to get into the conference tournament.
Now, kind of dancing around it, right now, Maryland is on the outside looking in. They're ranked 15th in the Big Ten. Only 12 teams make that Big Ten tournament. Is there a path for Maryland to the tournament?
There is. I mean, it sounds simple, but you got to win the next series against Minnesota and, just build more and more momentum, because at the end of the day, if you're hot, it doesn't really matter what your seeding is, right? As long as you're hot going into the tournament, you're going to be very scary for teams to play. And if they can just, like I said, bullpen coming alive a little bit this past weekend, can they continue that? Kyle McCoy's going to do his thing. Can the other Saturday and Sunday starter, whoever it is, do their thing on the mound, and then let the bats play, because that's the one thing that's been very consistent all year.
Oliver, thank you so much for coming on. Oliver's a senior just like Alex and I here. We really appreciate you coming on over the years, and it's been a pleasure having you at the desk, and we wish you the best of luck in your next chapters, and we do really appreciate all the work that you've done.
Yeah, you guys have been first class all 4 years, man. There's nothing I would rather do than be here right now. Congratulations to the both of you, and good luck in the rest of your careers, man.
Thanks, Oliver Shack, a friend of the show. You can keep up with Oliver's coverage on X at OliverShack24. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we'll recap Maryland's softball trip to Lincoln.
And we'll take a deeper look into how siblings at the University of Maryland build their relationship on and off the field. Stay with us.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Welcome back to the Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Ricky Podgorski. He's Alex Gary. Maryland softball drops its 5th consecutive series against a Big Ten opponent, Alex.
Yeah, that's right, Ricky. And it was all Huskers for all 3 games. Losing 6-0 and 2-9 earlier in the weekend, the Terps needed offensive momentum. But the Nebraska bats were too much for Maryland in Game 3. Took 2 pitches before Nebraska's Jordy Ball smashes a homer to give the Cornhuskers the early lead. Nebraska's bats stayed hot, turning that corn into popcorn as they pop hit after hit, leading by 7 after 4 innings. Maryland got 1 back in the 5th, but an Ava Cusack 2-run shot ends this one early. Cornhuskers win 9-1, leave the Terps still searching for their first conference win since March.
Former Maryland guard Cheyenne Sellers received some tough news on Sunday after she was drafted by the Golden State Valkyries in the WNBA draft just a few weeks ago. The expansion team released Sellers. But the bad news didn't last long. The Atlanta Dream claimed Sellers off waivers on Monday afternoon, giving Sellers another chance to make a WNBA roster with the regular season quickly approaching. Over to the NFL now, and it was a record weekend for Terps at the NFL draft, but now it's time to see how some of those Terps will adapt to their new teams.
TSC's Owen Korzak has more from Studio B.
Yeah, guys, as we know, 6 Terps were selected in last week's NFL draft, the most since 1986. Let's take a look at the top 3 selected Terps in this year's draft and how they fit on their new teams and what we can expect from each of them. Let's start off with defensive tackle Jordan Phillips. Phillips was selected in the 5th round by the Miami Dolphins and was actually reunited with Terp safety Dante Trader Jr. Now, a few weeks ago, I said Phillips would likely be taken by a team that lacks some size in their interior, and Miami is just that. The Dolphins had a hole at D-tackle after losing players like Christian Wilkins and Calais Campbell. In fact, Miami has just 2 interior D linemen on their current roster that have at least 1 career sack in the NFL, meaning that Phillips has an opportunity to see significant playing time as a rookie. Overall, Phillips and South Beach are a match made in heaven, and I think Phillips will likely find himself as the Dolphins' 3rd defensive tackle behind Zach Sealer and Kenneth Grant, finishing his rookie year with about 1 to 2 sacks and around 30 tackles. Next up, let's talk about Ruben Hippolyte, who was drafted by the Chicago Bears in the 4th round of the NFL draft. Hippolyte's journey to this year's draft was something we don't see too often. He was the first player off the board who wasn't invited to the NFL Combine. But the biggest reason for this was likely Hippolyte's blazing 4.42 40-yard dash time at Maryland's Pro Day, a time that would have led all linebackers at the Combine. Now, unlike Phillips, Hippolyte's team doesn't necessarily scream great fit. As a 4th-round pick, you'd expect linebacker to be a position of need for Chicago, but the Bears already have a great duo of linebackers in Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. Unfortunately for Hippolyte, I don't see him seeing the field on defense anytime soon, but I do think his speed can make him a great special teams player for the Bears. And last but certainly not least, we have Ty Felton, the Terps' star receiver. Felton was the first Terp taken in this year's draft, selected by the Minnesota Vikings with the last pick of the 3rd round. Felton landed in a loaded wide receiver room, featuring Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, who many consider to be the best pass catcher in the league. This has both pros and cons to it. It's unlikely that Felton will see significant playing time his rookie year, but this appears to be more of a long-term pick. Both Jalen Naylor and Rondale Moore, who Felton will be competing with for playing time, have contracts that expire at the end of the 2025 season. This gives Felton some time to learn behind some of the league's best, to refine his skills, and step into the Vikings' starting lineup in 2026. But he definitely has a chance to make a difference on special teams by competing for the Vikings' kick and punt returner role. There may have been some better landing spots, but I think overall this is a pretty good fit for Felton, and we can all but hope his career trajectory is similar to another Maryland receiver who got drafted by the Vikings, that of course being Stephon Diggs. And guys, these are just a few Terps who will be looking to make plays in the NFL this year and for years to come. And while we can't perfectly predict how they'll all do, there's a big sample size of Terps this season, a potential for a big impact.
Thanks so much, Owen. And kind of looking at Ty Felton, I kind of like the fit to the Vikings. I feel like they're a team that really is known for nailing on wide receivers in the draft. I feel like learning from one of the best in the game in Justin Jefferson will just do so much wonders for his career.
And I want to highlight one of the players that Owen talked about, Jordan Phillips, reuniting with Dante Trader Jr. down there in Miami, keeping that Terp family tight. And family is a big theme that we're seeing across Maryland athletes, just like at the NFL draft, where Terps are surrounded by their families as they hear their names called. And that family support is a big motivation for a lot of players. It's customary for some Maryland athletes to have family in the stands watching them play. But for a few Terps, family is right alongside them, competing every step of the way.
TSC's Benji Kaufman has more on the power of having a sibling in sports, and what it takes for some Terps to not just play college sports together, but balance family, competition, and team culture.
Siblings do nearly everything together. They go to the same school, play with the same toys, some even share the same bedroom. But how often do siblings get to play the same sport, and how often do they play it at the collegiate level? We've seen the Kelsey brothers win Super Bowls in the NFL, Serena and Venus Williams take home plenty of Grand Slam titles, and even Pau and Marc Gasol winning NBA championships. But to play for the same team and find that success is a whole new ballgame. But some sibling athletes at the University of Maryland are making strides towards success as dynamic duos, finding a sense of familiarity and a tight-knit culture within their respective teams. Sometimes sibling rivalry can be a distraction, and one may shine brighter than the other. But these Terps are learning to embrace their family ties, playing for the name on the front and the back of their jerseys.
Every sport I would play, I would always have my sister in the team.
For Lydia and Julia Ward, sibling connection is an understatement.
Boy, girl.
The Wards are twins who found a deeper connection in the game of lacrosse.
The sister, like having a best friend, having a twin, like it's just so different. Like it's like so up there. Like it's nothing's gonna ever come in between that.
From toddlers to Terps, the Wards have stuck together. It's rare for siblings to get to play the same sport at a high level, and studies show it could benefit mental health. The International Journal of Sports Science and Coaching highlights that having a sibling on the team can be a consistent source of companionship, help, and emotional support. A support system, even when one sibling may not perform at their best.
If she has a great game, but like say I didn't do as well as I wanted, I can still be like, it's okay, Lydia had a great game, and I feel like it goes both ways.
And the coaches in their lives have always seen it.
They're just super supportive of each other. I think they know what each other's thinking and know what each other's going to say before they're going to say it.
When it came to the recruiting process, the Wards were looking at schools as a package deal, only having real conversations with coaches who wanted both Lydia and Julia. Luckily for them, Maryland Athletics is passionate about bringing that sibling bond to College Park.
If it's two brothers coming together, you're really going to push on the fact that, like, hey, you guys can really create something cool here. This can be your brand, you know.
As the director of on-campus recruiting for Maryland football, Kelsey Winkle is an advocate for siblings playing for the same team. And it's not just the Wards at UMD who play for the same squad. Keon and Keyshawn Flowers would not even consider schools that only wanted one of them. But Maryland football gave them the special opportunity of putting on the pads with each other.
You know, this is one of the few schools that offered to bring us both in, and that definitely helped my recruiting. And obviously, I wanted to stay home as well, but yeah, bringing my brother was a big part of it too.
Like the Flowers brothers, Chris and Eddie Hakopian have found a home with the Terps.
These certain, moments like my first home run, who was at the plate greeting me.
For Maryland baseball head coach Matt Swope, there's real attention put on coaching siblings.
We take a lot of time to understand the individuals and how they're all different, and they're both very different. They have their own relationship, right? And you try to respect that.
Frontiers in Sports and Active Living, a journal that explores the science behind athletic performance and behavior, emphasizes the role coaches need to have when siblings are on the same team. It stresses the importance of a strong appreciation of how the psychological, social, and biological disciplines interact, and knowing when to intervene or let the siblings coach each other up.
Instead of maybe going in and coaching that, you can see that they know each other better, so you kind of let them police that and let them handle that on their own right.
But having a sibling teammate isn't always easy. Brothers and sisters can have their senses of identity challenged when they're constantly being seen as the twins or the duo, which adds pressure to their relationship outside of sports.
Dr. Christy Hall, the director of sports psychology at the University of Maryland, works closely with the football team, notably the Flowers brothers, helping them carve out their own paths.
Identifying, well, what is it that you want aside from your sibling, right? Like especially if they're twins and they've always done everything together, and think outside of just the package deal.
Natalie Leje, a performance and counseling psychologist with the Collective Edge in Washington, D.C., says that because siblings have already dealt with issues like this outside of athletics, they're able to take on those conflicts in a team setting.
You're not showing up with an empty toolbox here. Like, you have an ability to be able to take on these challenges that may exist when it comes to navigating these new type of team dynamics.
While college sports comes with pressure and competition, sharing the stage with your sibling makes it all worth it for the athletes at Maryland.
A whole different experience playing together at this level.
Just being twins, doing everything together, it's kind of just something that we always imagined. Like, I couldn't really imagine doing it without him.
It almost feels like if he's not doing well, it feels like I'm not doing well because we're so close.
It's just a strong bond that we have, that we always know that we're going to support each other no matter what.
From College Park, I'm Benji Kaufman.
And guys, one thing I took away the most from talking from coaches and psychologists is that when you have siblings on the team, you can't just let them police their own issues. Coaches really take a lot of attention into making sure that they're letting them handle their own right, but also intervening at the right time.
Benji, that was a great story. I know you've been working on that one for a long time, a couple months even. One thing I took away was how important it is for schools to actually recruit these siblings as a duo. Do you think Maryland should focus on that more? And what about other schools across the country? Should they focus on recruiting within families if they have the talent?
I think so. I mean, you don't want to just recruit siblings just because they're siblings. You always want to go for the skill and the athlete itself. But having siblings on the team, it brightens up that team culture. People feed off of that positive vibes. It's fun. It's fun for coaches. It's fun for the athlete. But also bringing in someone who you've always played with your entire life and now you're doing it at the college level, people really feed off of that, and it can always have a positive impact.
Yeah, exactly, Benji. And throughout my entire life, I have a brother, and we played on the same teams, played soccer, played lacrosse together, and definitely we've butt heads before, but I could see, bringing that vibe together, bring positive energy and just a different approach to everything. Just a really wonderful piece.
Of course, thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Very excited to see what you can do next year with stories just like that, and thank you for all the hard work that you've done this year, Benji.
It's my pleasure.
Now, stick around, because when we come back, Alex and I will take a look at some of our first times in front of the camera here with Terrapin Sports Central.
Plus, we'll preview fall sports, hand out some awards, and enjoy our infamous top play recreations. You won't want to miss it.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back to the left bench. I'm Alex Gary. That's Ricky Podgorski. And Ricky, although we're both not going to be on campus next fall, there's going to be a lot of excitement for fall sports.
All good things come to an end, but a lot of good, bright futures for Maryland sports. New quarterback battle for football, new retooled rosters for both soccer teams, a whole lot to look forward to for fall sports. And because of this excitement, our producers previewed what fans should expect from Maryland sports this fall.
Have a look.
Maryland football's offense will look entirely different this season. With the departure of Billy Edwards Jr. via the transfer portal and Ty Felton to the NFL, Terps fans should keep their eyes peeled out for the quarterback battle between four-star Malik Washington, Justin Martin, and Christian Martin. They will also be throwing to their new top target, Octavian Smith. I'll now throw it over to Jonah John Savage, who will take a look at the defense.
Thanks, Ben. The Maryland football defense will have a brand new look for the 2025 football season. It starts at the top, with the coaching staff having a widespread change. Ted Monachino is the new defensive coordinator for the Terps, but that's not all. 3 of last year's defensive starters are now in the NFL, with plenty of others transferring to other schools around the nation. Jalen Husky is one of the lone defensive starters from last year still on the defense, looking to lead a very young defense to have the Terps bounce back from a 4-8 season. Now here's Andrew McBride at Ludwig.
Thanks, Jonah. It will be a culture-building season for new head coach Michael Marciano as he takes the helm of Maryland women's soccer for the first full season. Last season was a major disappointment as they won just 1 game in the Big Ten Conference, and now they lose senior goalkeeper Liz Beardsley, they lose Kennedy Bell to the transfer portal to Michigan State, but they do return Ava Morales and a couple key pieces as they look to just flip the reset button and make their first conference tournament appearance since 2019. But now, I'll send it to Daniel Stein, who has more on Maryland volleyball.
Thanks, McBride. Now on to the PAV, where 2024 marked the 15th consecutive season where Maryland volleyball finished with a sub-500 record in conference play. And to make things even more challenging, the Terps have some big shoes to fill. Sam Sire, Sydney Dowler, and Anastasia Russ are all gone. But head coach Adam Hughes has made some adjustments, bringing in 5 new reinforcements. 5 new transfers, headlined by Kentucky's Haley Melby and former Arkansas Razorback Olivia Roy. Now, to make things better for the Terps, they do have a lot of returners as well. Jonna Spawn and Allie Williams will be back to lead the backcourt, and Ava Rohrback and Sydney Bryant will be back up front as well. Last year's team got up to a red-hot 9-2 start, but will they have a better conference slate? We'll just have to find out. Now over to Drew, who's at Ludwig Field.
Thanks, Daniel. The Maryland Soccer had one of its best seasons in a few years. All the chances of winning an NCAA tournament entirely fell short as they fell away forth in the second round of the NCAA tournament. That was here. Head coach Sasha Strauss is here. He signed 9 new players in the offseason, including 2 from UMBC. This season will also be headlined by our teams Max Riley, Luke Club, and Goldie Orn Now, off to Ben, Flex Sumga Field Hockey.
Thanks, Drew. Fresh off a brand new contract extension, head coach Missy Mahard returns for a record 38th season at the helm of Maryland Field Hockey. The Terps look to bounce back after a 13-7 campaign last year that saw their first opening round NCAA tournament exit since 2015. Maryland loses its star team captain and all Big Ten second team member Rain Wright, but welcomes back its goalkeeper Alyssa Klobasco in net. Macy Bradford and Josie Holloman headline a high-powered Terps offense, and a batch of new freshmen look to complement them. That's all for the fall. Stay up to date with all of TSC's coverage until then.
Well, thank you to all of our producers for giving us a glimpse into the fall. But Ricky, I want to really focus on women's soccer. You know, Liz Beardsley lost. That's a huge loss. I feel like she's lived rent-free on our top 5 plays for her entire stay here, but I feel like that's going to be a big key replacement that's going to need to be made.
And new head coach, but to talk a little bit more about top plays and Liz Beardsley, maybe we'll see something like that later on in the show. I don't know, but before we get to the end, we're nearing the end of the show here, which means it's almost the time where we say goodbye here at the desk. But we thought it would be nice to flash back to some of our first times at the desk and here on the left bench. I'll start us off. Let's take a look at my first few times anchoring on camera, reporting out in the field. It's a hard watch. Let's take a look. Yeah, guys, the Big Ten Conference had another impressive weekend of college football matchups with dominant performances and some really astonishing upsets. So let's get right to the highlights. We start off in East Lansing, Michigan, where the Purdue Boilermakers upset the number 3 ranked Michigan State Spartans. Purdue struck first with a 5-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Aiden O'Connell to receiver David Bell. Now, guys, something surprising about me is Purdue. They've already had 2 top 25 wins this season. Certainly a crazy year for the Purdue Boilermakers.
Yeah, not just top 25, 2 top 5 wins.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Absolutely.
Hello and welcome back to the Left Bench TV, your sideline source for all things Maryland sports. I'm Ricky Podgorski.
And I'm Kiara Brunel.
Interim head coach Danny Manning and his team entered the Big Ten tournament as the 10 seed, which pitted them against Michigan State for the second time in 5 days. And just like last Sunday, the Terps struggled to close the second half gap.
Coming off a dominant 3-set sweep against Rutgers, the Maryland volleyball team looked to continue that same momentum as they took on the number 8 ranked Purdue Boilermakers. They were unable to do so, losing 3 sets to 1. The Terps look to get back in the win column as they host Michigan on Sunday, November 7th in another Big Ten Conference matchup. For the Left Bench TV, I'm Ricky Podgorski.
The old TLB logo, I'll start with.
Yeah.
I don't know how my mother let me go out of the house with a haircut like that. I think the beard was the best thing I ever did.
I was gonna say for some of our new viewers that don't know you before the beard, it's their first preview of beardless Ricky Podgorski.
Yeah, not a good one, not a good look.
I liked it. Let's bring it back.
No.
All right, now it's my turn. Same thing. One of my first show appearances and my first gamer. Let's take a look.
The Maryland volleyball team came into Friday night's matchup against Wisconsin riding a hot streak, most recently defeating Columbia. The Terps look to continue their undefeated season against the number 2 Badgers, and after 5 hard-fought sets, the Terps pulled the upset against the Badgers and won 3 sets to 2.
As the Kevin Willard era begins for Maryland basketball, the program leaves behind a 2021-2022 campaign that many fans would like to forget. As much as the team struggled to be the 21st seed that they were ranked to be in the preseason, Terps fans also struggled to show their support. Oh, man. Oh, you wanna react to that?
You look so young. So young.
Yeah, and my first gamer, probably the biggest win in Maryland volleyball, maybe history. You could see the excitement in my voice.
I know.
But the first segment about Maryland basketball, beginning of the Kevin Willard era, 2022. Now we're 2025, end of the Kevin Willard era.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? Well, Maryland men's basketball may not have gotten a sold-out Xfinity in 2022, but 3 years later, Terps fans are back. Reason for the hype? Our male Terp of the year, Derek Queen. Queen was the obvious choice as he set College Park on fire this season. DQ has gone to average a team-high 16 points to go with 9 rebounds per game, numbers that have made Queen a 5-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week honoree, most by a Terp in program history. And who could forget his one shining moment against Colorado State? Queen will leave College Park as one of the top Terps to ever wear the red, black, and gold. Congrats to Queen on being named our male Terp of the year.
From the hardwood to the field, this Terp has been lighting it up for Maryland women's lacrosse. Our female Terp of the year goes to Corey Edmondson. Edmondson has been carrying the offensive load for the Terps in her junior season. 54 goals, 11 assists, and 34 ground balls as she led the Terps to a second-place finish in the Big Ten. Edmondson's 54 goals are the 5th best in the conference. Her scoring production and leadership on the field will be valuable heading into the NCAA tournament. Congrats to Corey on being named our female Terp of the year. And now it's the time we've all been waiting for, the thing we look forward to most every single year, our top plays recreations.
Take a look at some of TLB's finest attempts to recreate some of the best plays we've seen from Maryland athletes this year.
And of course, we included the bloopers. Enjoy us making a fool of ourselves.
I'm Ben Wolf, and I'm recreating Liz Beardsley's double save against Illinois.
Let's go!
Come on! Yeah!
I'm Alexa Wu, and I'm going to recreate Logan McNaney's kick save against number 1 Notre Dame.
Yeah!
That was it! That was it!
Is that good?
Number 1 Notre Dame goes down.
All right, I'm Jonas Evans, and I'm going to be recreating Tafara Gapare's posterizer against Bucknell. Emphasis on try.
My name's Daniel Stein, and today I'll be recreating Max Rogers' back heel goal versus Long Island in the NCAA tournament.
I'm Nathan Schwartz, and I'm going to be recreating Liam Wilson's epic diving catch at Indiana a few weeks ago, and that play made SportsCenter's top 10 plays of the day. I'm hoping that I can replicate that.
Come on, man! Let's go!
My name is Benji Kaufman, and I'm recreating Sarah Tibiasu's game winner against Ohio State. Let's get it.
It's about time. It's about time. Yeah!
I'm Eddie Calkins, and I'll be creating one of Ethan Miller's many takedowns throughout the season, this one against Rutgers.
Yep. Let's go!
My back. Are you good?
I'm Ben Geffner. I'm going to be recreating Rodney Rice's game winner over Indiana.
What's up, guys? I'm Matthew News, and I'm going to be recreating Max Rogers' free kick stunner that he hit against Brown. Now, I'm no lefty like Max, but I'm going to go on my right, see if I can put it top bins. Let's go.
I'm Ricky Podgorski, and I'm going to be recreating Derek Queen's buzzer beater against Colorado State and try not to travel.
I'm Brandon Schwartzberg. I'm going to be recreating Billy Edwards Jr.'s shovel pass against Michigan State. Yes, I know this is a soccer ball, but it's what we're going to work with.
My name is Andrew McBride, and I'll be recreating yet another Elijah Lambros home run robbery against Northwestern.
Yeah! Yeah!
I'm Alex Gary, and I'm going to be recreating Dono Brown's game-saving blocked kick against USC. We don't have a football, so we're going to be using a different type of football. Let's get it.
Ready to attack the day.
Don't put that in.
I'm not in the hole anymore.
Yeah, I think we gotta...
Folks, this is a real soccer ball here, inflated to professional grade standards. What the hell, you're out there?
That one was the worst.
Oh my goodness, Valentine.
Oh! Oh, felt good! Oh my... Ah!
What the hell happened?
Was that too close?
Blocked kick against USC.
Alex wants me to do it again because I did it in one take.
Uh-oh.
All right, well, that's always a good time, and I mean, you're probably wondering why all the seniors are up here, and I am too. I'll let Alex read because that's what it says in the script.
We're just reading the script, and that's because our new producers for next year wrote this part of the script.
And as we have said throughout the show, this is the final show of the school year, and all of us up here are graduating, and we are now being told to send it to a video.
Hi, you guys. Ricky, Alex, Nate, Brandon, Alexa, Jonas, Matt, Laura. So many seniors this year, but you all rock so much. I am so proud of all of you guys and so happy for you guys for everything that you've done for TSC over your 4 years since you guys came in. You changed it for the better by so much. You guys are all so talented, so passionate, such dedicated journalists that it's just gonna be hard to beat you guys. You guys are all so fantastic. Getting to work with you guys and spend 4 years with you was so amazing, or I guess 3. I don't know. I don't do math. Anyway, you guys were seriously so amazing. I miss you all so much. You guys know how much I love you guys, and all the work that you have put into this club has meant the world to everybody, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future. I know it's gonna be amazing, and you guys know I'll be following every step of the way, of course. But I love you guys so much. I miss you guys so much. I am so proud of you guys, and you guys are amazing. Mwah! Bye!
Congratulations, seniors! It has been such a joy and such a privilege to be able to watch all of you grow from the little baby freshmen that you used to be to the proud, confident journalists you are today. It has been such a joy to be a part of your journey, and I can't wait to see where your journey takes you after graduation. You are all going to be incredible storytellers, incredible journalists, and I cannot wait to cheer you on in the next part of your life. Congratulations! Come see me at ESPN.
Hey kids, Old Man McNulty stopping by to say today is a great day to celebrate some of the very best people I know. You seniors, you walked in the joint 3.5 years ago. You impressed the hell out of me then, and you're still impressing the hell out of me today. Ricky, Algair, Nate, Tall One, Matt, Alexa, Laura, and everyone else, even you, Rakim. I had talent scouts calling me about that field hockey gamer. Impressive stuff you guys have put out over the past few years. I am very proud. You all should be very proud of yourselves. And guess what? Your work is done. Time to join me on the dark side and leave the rest to Eddie and the gang. Congratulations. Love you guys.
That was pretty special.
You guys deserve it. You guys came in as kids, and actually we're about to give you, there's a reason for that. We're carrying on a legacy of something goat related.
Oh boy.
I'm curious to you guys to know, what is a pack of little baby goats called? What are they called?
A herd?
They're called kids. Each individual one is a kid.
Okay.
You guys came in as kids, so we thought you guys are not leaving as kids, but we'll give you a little kid to remember the time. There's one of each of you guys here.
Oh. That's sick. Oh, that's awesome. The goat.
Everybody got one?
Let me see one. As Kevin would say, the goat. And
Little
Kira,
baby
the
goats.
goat. The goats. That's hilarious.
This is awesome.
A bunch of Matthew Goldens just as a whole, we want to thank you all for the time and effort that you guys have put into TSC. You've put in a lot of hours, and you've left us off in a great spot, and we're going to continue to growing TSC in the future for you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So I guess let you guys sign off, but I want to give you a little thank you, goat related. I'm sure you know Kevin, Kira, they all have their goat stuff. So anything else have their
This
goat
is
stuff? Sorry,
fantastic.
This is awesome.
Alex,
congrats, guys.
Alex, I'll let
Well,
you take it away.
that will do it for our final edition of the Left Bench this school year, and our final time at the desk together.
Before I say thank you, I just want to say thanks to our production crew. I'm looking at all them behind the camera right now, and they're all about to come up here and holding back tears because it's been a long journey for me and the rest of the crew up here, and I'm just so thankful to have done it with this group because I'm confident I not only did it with a bunch of good reporters, but a bunch of really good people. So I'll never forget the 4 years here, and I can't wait to see what you four and the rest of you guys do next year. You're going to do great. I'm so excited. Yeah, thank you. That's all I can really say.
Thank you, and make sure to keep up with our coverage next year.
You can keep up with all that coverage on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and online at TerrapinSportsCentral.com. Thanks for all the memories. Have a great summer. Come on up, folks.